In the heart of an ancient forest, nestled under a canopy of starlight, lay a lake so clear it mirrored the heavens. One night, when the moon was a perfect silver coin in the sky, 7 fairy sisters descended from their celestial home. They were drawn by the beauty of the human world, their laughter like the chiming of tiny bells as they danced upon the water's surface. The youngest, Lyra, with wings that shimmered like 1,000 tiny rainbows, was the most curious of them all. While her sisters played, her eyes caught the gentle, pulsing glow of a firefly. Mesmerized, she followed its flickering path, darting between ancient trees and over moss-covered stones, venturing deeper into the woods than she had ever gone before. She giggled, trying to catch the little beacon of light, completely unaware that she was drifting further and further away from the safety of the lake and her sisters. Back at the water's edge, a young woodcarver named Kale was making his way home. His life was quiet, filled with the scent of pine and the patient work of his hands. As he approached the lake, he saw something extraordinary lying on a smooth, gray stone. It was a pair of wings, so delicate and iridescent that they seemed woven from moonlight and dawn. Kale had never seen anything so beautiful. He thought it must be a magical cloak, left behind by some enchanted creature of the forest. He felt a pull, an inexplicable sense of wonder, and without a second thought, he gently gathered the shimmering wings and took them home, believing he had found a treasure that would change his lonely life forever. He had no idea that his discovery had just stranded a fairy in the mortal realm. As the moon began its slow descent, Lyra's 6 sisters prepared to return to the heavens. They called for her, their voices echoing across the water, but only silence answered. Panic began to set in. They searched the lakeside, their celestial light casting long dancing shadows, but Lyra was gone. Realizing they couldn't stay longer without being trapped in the mortal world until the next full moon, they ascended with heavy hearts, their once bright lights dimming with worry and fear for their lost sibling. Meanwhile, Lyra had lost sight of the firefly and found her way back to the lake, only to make a horrifying discovery. Her wings were gone. Panic surged through her. Without them, she was powerless, unable to fly, unable to return home. She was trapped. Tears streamed down her face as she sank to the ground, a tiny, forlorn figure in the vast, dark woods. The world that had seemed so magical just moments before now felt immense and threatening. Every rustle of leaves, every hoot of a distant owl sent a shiver of fear through her. The next morning, Kale returned to the lake, drawn back by the memory of his strange discovery. It was there he found Lyra, huddled and shivering, her silver hair tangled with leaves. She looked up at him with wide, frightened eyes, the same otherworldly color as the wings he now held in his cottage. In that instant, he understood. This was no magical cloak he had found. The wings belonged to her. A wave of guilt washed over him. He hadn't stolen them maliciously, but his ignorance had caused this beautiful creature so much distress. His heart went out to her. He knelt down slowly, speaking in a soft, gentle voice, and offered her a warm place to stay in his home. Hesitantly, Lyra accepted. Kale's cottage was small and cozy, filled with the scent of freshly carved wood and drying herbs. He returned her wings, placing them carefully on a soft blanket. Though she was still unable to reattach them, having them near brought her a small measure of comfort. Kale was kind. He shared his simple food with her and showed her the quiet beauty of his world. He taught her the names of the trees, the songs of the birds, and the art of coaxing shapes from blocks of wood. Lyra, in turn, began to show Kale the small wonders he had always overlooked. She revealed the intricate patterns on a butterfly's wing, the way dewdrops on a spider's web caught the morning sun like a string of pearls, and the secret language of the flowers. A unique and tender bond began to form between the lonely woodcarver and the lost fairy. They found solace in each other's company, bridging the vast gap between their two worlds with shared laughter and quiet understanding. As days turned into weeks, Kale's small cottage became a home for Lyra. He would watch, fascinated, as she would coax wilting flowers back to life with a gentle touch or sing to the birds in a language they seemed to understand. She taught him to see the magic hidden in the mundane, and he, in turn, grounded her, giving her a sense of safety and belonging in a world that was not her own. He carved her a tiny flute from a willow branch, and the melodies she played were so enchanting, they made the very trees seem to lean in to listen. Kale fell a little more in love with her each day, with her whimsical spirit and the light she brought into his solitary life. He started to selfishly hope she would never find a way to leave. But high above in their celestial kingdom, Lyra's sisters had not forgotten her. Every night, they would fly to the edge of their world, their combined light a beacon of hope, searching the darkness below for any sign of their youngest. Their collective longing and worry grew so intense that it began to manifest in the mortal sky. It started as a faint shimmer, then grew into a breathtaking celestial phenomena, a soft, slow-moving shower of colored lights, like a gentle, silent meteor shower made of pastel hues. It was the fairies' love and sorrow made visible, a river of tears flowing across the night sky. One evening, as Lyra and Kale sat outside the cottage, she saw it. She gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. She recognized the colors, the gentle, flowing light. It was her sisters. It was a signal, a call for her to come home. Her heart ached with a sudden, powerful mix of joy and sorrow. She was overjoyed at the sight of her family. But the thought of leaving Kale, of leaving this quiet life she had come to cherish, was a sharp pain in her chest. Kale saw the look on her face and knew, without her saying a word, what the celestial lights meant. His own heart sank. The moment he had been dreading had arrived. He had known she could not stay forever, but the reality of her departure was more painful than he could have imagined. Pushing aside his own sadness, he knew he had to help her. He told her of a high, windswept cliff at the edge of the forest, the closest point to the sky in all the surrounding lands. Perhaps from there, she could reach her sisters. With heavy hearts, they began their journey the next day. The climb was long and arduous. Kale guided her along treacherous paths, his strong hand always there to steady her. They didn't speak much. The unspoken farewell hung in the air between them, a heavy, bittersweet cloud. They reminisced about their time together, the first time she had laughed at his clumsy attempt to mimic a bird call, the day he had carved her likeness into a piece of oak, capturing her ethereal beauty in the wood. Each memory was a precious gem, and also a painful reminder of what they were about to lose. Finally, they reached the cliff top. The world stretched out beneath them, a patchwork of forest and fields under the vast, open sky. The celestial lights were brighter here, closer, almost within reach. As if sensing her presence, the shower of light began to intensify, descending towards the cliff. Lyra turned to Kale, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. She thanked him for his kindness, for his friendship, for showing her the beauty of his world and his heart. He simply looked at her, his own eyes filled with a profound sadness that he couldn't put into words. Just then, 6 figures of light descended from the sky, their forms solidifying as they landed gracefully on the cliff. Lyra's sisters had found her. They rushed to embrace her, their joyful reunion a cascade of light and relieved whispers. Lyra turned back to Kale one last time. "I will never forget you," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. She reached out and placed something small and warm in his hand. Her sisters gently helped her reattach her wings, and with a powerful beat, they began to glow with their familiar rainbow light. Lyra gave Kale one last lingering look, a look that promised a memory that would span across worlds. Then, she and her sisters ascended, becoming 7 bright stars climbing back into the heavens. Kale stood alone on the clifftop for a long time, watching until their lights faded into the star-dusted tapestry of the night sky. He finally looked down at the gift she had left him. In the palm of his hand lay a single, tiny feather from her wing. It pulsed with a soft, warm, iridescent glow, a constant, tangible reminder of the lost fairy who had stumbled into his life and changed it forever. He clutched it tightly, a single tear tracing a path down his cheek, a silent tribute to the love he had found and lost between the earth and the sky. Thank you so much for watching our story today. If you enjoyed this tale, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure. See you next time.